Alright Hosses, welcome back, and in this video I want to talk to you about how to make another kind of layout, and this is called a list box. Now a list box, this type of layout is really good for forms because it's kind of like a list in the sense that you can put things kind of like rows one on top of each other. And the reason that it's a little better than a list is, first of all, whenever you think of like a grocery list, you think of one item on each thing. You can actually have multiple items on each row. So it's good so you can have a label and then an input and then like maybe a label and a submit button. And another thing is that you can navigate it with a keyboard, you can sort it. So in this demonstration, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a simple form, but the possibilities are endless. Dun, da, da. It sound like inspiring. So I'm just going to write like a cheeseburger machine because that's what's popping in my head right now. We'll say that this is a form. You're the owner of a restaurant and you have to, for some reason, submit a form to turn your cheeseburger machine on. This is the dumbest example ever, but whatever. Alright. So one of the first things I always like to do is I like to set a border around my entire layout. And if you don't do this, then everything inside your layout is going to look like it's bunched right up against the edge of, all the borders and stuff. So just type self. And whenever you refer to self, remember, this is essentially like your main window. So for the main window, the overall window, I'm just going to set a border width of 10 or so. And that'll be pretty good. If it's still kind of close to the edges, we can bump it up a little bit, but whatevs. And now, just for my list box, I'm just going to call it list box and set this equal to GTK dot list box. Too lazy to type that. Alright, so we'll just set it equal to a blank list box. And again, just think of this like a list for now that we can stick items inside. So for the list box, one thing I want to do is I want to set the selection mode to GTK selection mode and set this equal to none. Alright. So I said this is essentially a list, and sometimes you're going to want to make a list where the users can like select the items and navigate it around like with their keyboard. Maybe if you're making something like an Excel spreadsheet kind of program. However, this is just a form, and we don't want them to be able to like select the entire form elements like the label and everything. So that's why I'm going to hit selection mode none. And of course, we need to add this to the window. So self add list box. Alright, so now we have our list box added to the window, a blank list, pretty boring. So what we're going to do from here is we're just going to start adding items or form elements to it. So if it was a login form, you would want to have a label that says email and then an input area and then maybe their password in another input area. But I'm just going to make some stupid random stuff. So right, like I'll just make a checkbox first. You're going to use this a lot. Alright, so there's one more thing I'm going to explain before we start, really pounding into the code. Now we can't just add items into these rows, and that's fine. We can do that if we want. However, what I'm going to do is instead of adding the items directly into the rows, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick them inside a box. So in each row, we're going to have a box, and the items are going to go inside that. Why the heck am I doing that? Well, if we have a box, we have a lot more flexibility of how we want to lay the items out. So boxes just give you a lot more options than list box rows. So there you go. You guys are going to see in a second. So row 1 equals GTK. This is just going to be the list box row. And we'll just keep that for now. And under that, we're just going to make box 1 and set this equal to GTK box. Wow, I can't type a one letter. And I'll do this. The orientation equals GTK orientation. There we go. And horizontal. And another one is this. Spacing equals 100. So this is the main attribute that I was going after right now. So like I said, we can just stick our label and our checkbox right in the row, but if we do, they're going to be clumped up right tight against each other. It's going to look really weird. With a box, we can actually give it some spacing just like that. So now your label's nice on the left, you have a little bit of space, and then your checkbox is going to be on the right. It's going to look freaking beautiful, trust me guys. So row 1, what we want to do is we want to add box 1, and then let's just make a label. So label equals GTK label, and what text do we want to appear on this label? Let's write check if you love cheeseburgers. So that's what this checkbox is going to be. And now let's make the checkbox. So checks equals GTK check button. Alright, so we have a label and a check button, and now we pretty much just have to add it to the box. So box 1, and remember, we'll just say pack start. We'll add them in order, and then add the label to the box. True, true, 0. And I'm going to do the exact same thing with the check, so might as well just copy that to ensure my laziness level is staying high. And now, check it out. We have 2 items, which is the label on the left and the checkbox. We added them both to the box, and now the only thing we have to do is add the box to the list row. So, ListBox, add row 1. Boom, roasted. And now, if you want to even get even more lazier, you can copy this entire thing and do the same. But I don't want to keep the checkbox because, I don't know, we already did one of those. I'll show you guys how to do a toggle switch. Those are another thing that come in handy quite a bit. And for my label, we'll say that this is the switch to turn your machine on. So let's write like burger making machine. And the toggle switch by default, it says on and off. It's just a regular toggle switch. So you know, the label, it would be good for that. And let me just change these two, row 2, row 2, row 2, box 2, box 2, box 2. Dun, 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 dun. That's what we're gonna do. Check it out now. All right. So of course I don't want a checkbox. So instead I'm gonna make a toggle switch. It's gonna be awesome. Let me scroll down so you guys can see. All right. So I'll just name it switch and set this equal to GTK switch. And all right, looking good, mate. And of course, got to put my switch right there. Let me just make sure. Dun, dun, does everything look good? Hopefully, or else this is going to be super embarrassing. All right. So yeah, I think we're good to go. So let's run this bad boy and see what's up. All right. So check it out. Our title: cheeseburger machine. Check if you love cheeseburgers. Check that. Burger making machine. Looking good. And again, even though the user can't see it, this entire thing is a list box, and inside of these are list box rows. And instead of just sticking these labels and all these widgets inside, what we did is we added an invisible box, because that way we can have the spacing right here. And real quick, let me show you guys what it would look like if you didn't have the spacing. So let me actually change the spacing to 0 so I can represent that and check it out. So this is what I was talking about, how everything is all clumped together. And I don't know, if that's the effect you're going for, the incredible ugly effect, then go ahead, do that. But I like it better, a little bit better with tidbit of spacing, so play around with that. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you just got yourself a nice brand new piece of software for a cheeseburger machine. Go ahead, go out, sell it to McDonald's, make millions. But don't forget to watch the next video. I will smell you guys there.